Well, good morning from Concordia, Kansas. I'm on my way back to South Sioux City, Nebraska. Man, I've been hitting that place a lot lately, right? I got to drop this there. I'll drop that this evening. Then I'll deadhead down to Grand Island and pick up a load to take it to Windsor, Colorado. And, you know, I had to go down to Sherman, Texas yesterday. Did that. Then I headed up to Dodge City to pick this up. Dodge City, Kansas, to pick this up. So my break is about over. This place here, north of Concordia, I see is a Casey's now. It used to be an independent. Anyone who lives in the Midwest area, they know about Casey's. They're really exploding with the truck stop. A lot of companies are. And really, that wasn't a topic I was going to talk about, but now that I'm talking about it, Maverick, which is I believe, Colorado-based company, they're doing a lot of truck stops. Toot and Totem out of Amarillo, Texas, they built a big truck stop there outside of Liberal, Kansas. A couple of years ago, they built a big one there in Amarillo, Clayton, New Mexico. Of course, QT's been doing it for a while now. They've been opening truck stops. Allsups, which is Clovis-based, New Mexico, or Clovis, New Mexico-based convenience store. We have a lot of them in West Texas. They've been building truck stops. So, yeah, apparently it's profitable to sell truck diesel. Which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. The more the merrier, you know. I have absolutely no problem with it at all. And it looks like I might get lucky here. Sometimes you may sit here for a minute waiting to get across, but it looks like I'm going to get lucky. Trying to think of anyone else that's doing it that was just a convenience. Well, I mean, a lot of them. Love started out as just a convenience store back in the day. Pilot started out as just a convenience store back in the day. So a lot of them are getting into it, except Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's still hates truck drivers, and that's fine. I still don't spend my money there. So feelings mutual. I may get a chance to go by the grocery store tomorrow because this Grand Island load will probably not be ready when I get there. So I'll probably just drop the trailer there, it's drop and hook, and get a chance to run over to the grocery store and pick up some groceries. I very rarely eat outside of the truck. Pretty self-sufficient that way. I mean, I do sometimes. I got something while I was doing my 34 in Wichita the other day. Actually, there was an Arby's in there, and I'm not a big Arby's fan, but man, Arby's has expanded their menu. They got different stuff than they used to have. Wasn't bad. Rained on me from Sherman, Texas to Dodge City, all the way up to here yesterday. That was a pretty big storm. The truck's got a vibration in it. Tires, they look, you know, they're not wearing funny or anything. truck's scheduled to be turned in at the end of the year. It's got 400,000 miles on it. They generally like to turn them in while there's still a little bit of warranty left on them. Just read an article where they claim, and I did a post on it, they claim that Gavin Newsom has given out 62,000 CDL licenses to illegal aliens. That's the story. Don't know if it's true. Well, I mean, it's being reported. I'm assuming that it's true. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to get sued. And a lot of people say, well, Gavin Newsom's not handing them out. No, you're right. Gavin Newsom himself, he's not down at the DMV handing out CDL licenses. I get that. But he is letting it happen. He is enabling it. He is promoting it. And maybe some people are getting tired of this subject. Okay, I get it. But if you're an American truck driver, this is a top priority thing. And it needs to be dealt with. The guy who caused the wreck in Ontario, California, has pled not guilty. So he's already gone to court once. And by the way, that's a lot of people get upset about that. You know, that's just normal court procedure. Very few people, when they're being arraigned, plead guilty. You know, unless you just want to I did it, I give up, I don't care, I want to go to prison. You know, let's just end this and send me to prison right now. Most people don't do that. Their attorneys will tell them, we're going to plead not guilty and then go to trial. To try to get the best deal on a sentence that they can get. I don't think this guy's going to get a good deal, because like the guy who did the U-turn in Florida, man, this is front and center. You know, this is the big news story. It really is. It could affect any of us. I mean, if you think they just plow into cars, no, they plow into cars, trucks. You know, they plow into everybody. They don't care. They don't discriminate. You know? they're a law-abiding citizen. All you have to do is ask them. Well, at least she didn't come over right on top of me like so many of them like to do. You know, they'll have a whole open highway in front of them, right? They'll come around you, and then they'll come over almost taking your front bumper off. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see how long it is till the next illegal driver plows into a bunch of traffic. That seems to be a thing with them. You know, that didn't happen a lot before. You know, back in the day when we were running, shall we say, kind of outlaw, and I'll admit I was not a law-abiding citizen at the time. You know, very, very rarely did you ever hear of a story. I can't remember hearing them. I'm sure it happened, but very, very rarely did you hear of a truck just plowing through traffic and not even slowing down. I mean, people get rear-ended. All the cars were in cars, trucks were in trucks and cars were in trucks. And I know a lady, when I was living in Dallas, I mean, she was our neighbor. She was going down the freeway at a very high rate of speed in her car, and she rear-ended a truck so hard that it decapitated her. She was driving really, really fast, and she was driving so fast she couldn't maneuver in time. And it decapitated her. So, I mean, people have been plowing into people since automobiles were invented. But with these trucks just plowing into traffic, like they don't even see them, is a fairly new phenomenon. And you gotta ask yourself, are they doing it on purpose? Some people are saying they're doing it on purpose. I don't know. Is it some sort of new form of terrorism? I don't know, because, I mean, these people are going to prison for an awful long time. Normally, and these are not Muslims, all right? Let's not pretend that just because they're from another country that they're automatic Muslims. A lot of these guys are skis, which, by the way, are, you know, my understanding is they are persecuted by the Muslims as much as Christians are, and Jews. So it's these two. They're in such a big hurry to turn off the road, or at least the one was. That's anyway. So it's not a Muslim thing. You know, it's not Muslim terrorist. And I'm just saying, look, there's other terrorists out there besides just Muslim terrorists. I get that. But that's, you know, for good or for right or wrong, that's what we think, at least in this country, when we hear about terrorism from another country. I don't know. I really don't. But it does seem to be a pattern. And I think it should be investigated. Why is it always these guys plowing into traffic? Why does it always seem to be the Indian guys that plow the traffic? Now, we had the Serbian guy in Indiana who hit someone. He supposedly He didn't like plow into a bunch of people, but apparently he didn't see the traffic in front of him and didn't stop in time. So, I don't know. It's open for debate. And of course, when something's open for debate, when we don't have an answer, we always like to try to fill in the gaps, right? That's where you get a bunch of wild conspiracies start popping up, because it's just human nature to want to fill in those gaps. And we want to fill in the gap on this. Why do they seem to always be just plowing in the traffic? I don't know. Why do we very, very rarely, and I'm going to say that because I'm sure it's happened, but again, like I said earlier, I don't remember stories about it 20, 30 years ago when I started driving, 30 plus years ago, but I'm sure it's happened, so I'll say very rarely. Do you ever hear about excuse me, an American citizen or a Canadian citizen, or I can't speak for Europe and Australia. I try to keep up with the trucking industry over there as much as possible, but obviously every news story I can't, I can't absorb every news story from around the world. But very rarely do you hear of native drivers, native to that country, doing it. Now I do know that India has a terrible driving problem, and it doesn't take much of an internet search to find that they just have a god-awful driving problem and traffic problem in India. People just drive like they don't care. People going the wrong way down the freeways over there, and the cops are like, look, we'll do our best, but we can't stop them all. It's a cultural thing. They just don't care. So is that the problem here? They just, the Indian driver, not the other Russians and all the other guys, but the Indian drivers, do they just not care? I don't know. Now contrast that, you go to the Russian drivers. Again, go on YouTube and look up Russian car crashes, and they show cars and trucks. They just slam into each other. I mean, it's almost like they're aiming for each other. And everybody over there's got a dash cam. All the people in cars have them, trucks. So they're trying to document what's going on, but at the same time, they're causing it. And I mean, you watch it and it's like, dude, you aimed for that guy. It's almost like Russians just can't get through the day unless they've been in an accident. It's just like part of the day for them. Yeah, I was in an accident today. Oh, okay, yeah, me too. I haven't been in one yet myself, but I need to get out there and get involved in one. I don't know. You see them sliding off the road in the winter, slamming into each other in the summer. So I don't know. I know the driving habits of the average American has deteriorated tremendously in the past few decades. As cars and trucks get easier to drive, our driving skills have deteriorated, which makes sense, right? I mean, look at our reading skills and our writing skills, how much they've deteriorated because technology does so much of that for us now. The same thing with driving. The easier a vehicle is to operate, the less skills it takes to operate it. We lose those skills. And you may say, well, we don't need them anymore. Yeah, sometimes you do. Until these cars become fully autonomous, you still need those skills at times. I think the worst thing we ever did was make cars and trucks easier to drive. Either go fully autonomous and take the driver out of the equation, Or go back to making these vehicles not think for you, to where you have to do all of the thinking. You have to do all of the reacting. Same thing with these trucks. Make this clutch harder to push in than it used to be. Get rid of the automatic trucks. The automatic transmissions. Make it, I'm not saying impossible for, the average person to drive, but make it more difficult. Make it more of a skill than it used to be. I mean, it's still a skill having to maneuver a 70-foot truck and trailer in town and backing up and all. Believe me, there's still a lot of skills involved in driving a truck that, your average car driver doesn't have to worry about. But even with that, make just the art of having to, push one of these things down the highway more of a skill than it used to be. Or more of a skill than it is now. Sorry. I was watching this guy in front of me. I didn't know what he was about to do. I guess he's going to turn left. It's kind of foggy. Maybe you should turn your headlights on, but I get it. That's whatever. That would make too much sense. Especially when you're driving that slow in the left lane, because you're going to make a turn. So our culture of driving in America is slightly better. I mean, we don't try to slam into each other. We don't really make a habit out of going the wrong way on the freeway just because we missed an exit. We're just going to make a U-turn right in the middle of the freeway. Although you do see more and more people just blowing red lights. And I don't mean it turned red on them. I mean, their light is red, they slow down, look real quick, and then take off through the intersection. I've seen that happen more than once. People blowing stop signs. And look, we've all kind of done a boulevard stop, if you will, right? I get that. I don't mean that. I mean just totally just blowing through it like it doesn't exist. We've all seen that. So, I don't know. School zones. There's another one. I don't know how many times I've gone through a town and they've had a school zone flashing. And I do the speed limit through there. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say I do the speed limit because I'm some great humanitarian and I don't want to run over any kids. Now, I don't want to run over any kids, don't get me wrong. I really don't. But I slow down mainly because I don't want to get a ticket. Because cops, rightly so, tend to watch school zones more. And they should. They should. But I see, like, the parents drop their kids off, pull out of the school, drive through the school zone, 10, 15 mile over the speed limit, blowing around everybody. And I'm like, you know what? I slowed down for the school zone. These are not my kids. These are your kids. And God forbid you run over one of them. If you're in that big of a hurry, you should have left earlier. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say American citizens are fantastic drivers, because we're not. Or so many of us aren't. But culturally, and it doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, yellow, red, doesn't matter. If you're from the United States or from North America, you generally try not to do anything too stupid on the road. For the most part. We see stupid stuff happen out here, but a lot of countries don't. They just don't care. I don't know, man. And they can be very, very nice people. Very nice people. But they just don't care when they get out on the highway. I don't get it. I really don't. Argentina. I watched a documentary on Argentina and the cops there trying to, to stop the bad driving down. That one guy was doing over 100 miles an hour. They pulled him over, gave him a ticket. He takes off, goes back doing 100 miles an hour again. I think they ended up having to arrest him. They pulled him over again. It's like, they don't care. And they interviewed a guy while he was there with the cops, because the documentary person, the filmmaker, was riding with the cop. And he's like, yeah, I know it's illegal, I don't care. Okay. I mean, what do you do with that? Now, you think if they come over here, they're going to care? Nebraska? Probably not. I mean, they might. They might say, look, man, I got to assimilate. I can't be driving like a loon bag anymore. But, I mean, we still have people drinking and driving in this country. Right? We still have people doing it. Why? Probably for the same reason that guy's going over 100 miles an hour and thinking it's not a big deal. Because we think, I'm good. I'm all right. And maybe you are. Maybe you're legally drunk, which you don't have to drink much to be legally drunk in this country. So maybe you're, quote, legally drunk and you're all right. I don't know. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're slobbering drunk and you have no business behind the wheel. I don't know. I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out the hard way. So what do we do with driving? We can say it's the illegals, and it is to a point. But what do we do? And it's not just India or Argentina. I have truck driver friends in Ireland. I'll tell you, Ireland has got terrible drivers. Apparently the Irish aren't very good drivers. I don't know. I had one guy is a truck driver who said he likes to drive the continent as much as possible. And he's from Ireland, but he doesn't like to drive in Ireland. He said people drive too bad. I don't know. I've never driven in Ireland. Australia seems to have pretty decent drivers. I watch a lot of things from Australia, and they seem to have pretty decent drivers, but they have knuckleheads too. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Make people care. Make people give a damn. The only time we care about this stuff is if we can get a lawsuit out of it. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Anybody got an answer? Leave it in the comments. Speed has a factor, speed limit 75, I want to do 85. I'll speed a little bit. I'm not going to deny that. But a lot of people just don't possess the driving skills to be going that fast. What's funny is the toll road between Austin and San Antonio is 85 miles an hour. You get on that road, no one's doing 85. Almost everybody seems to be going slower. Like they're doing 70 or 75. But now, if they drop the speed limit tomorrow to 70, those same people would be doing 85. It's almost like it's no fun to go that fast unless it's illegal. I don't know. But I know this four-wheeler better hurry up and pass me because I don't know if the scales open or not. I'm thinking it's probably closed, but I don't know. There's a truck up ahead of me. I can't see what he's doing. He's going on. It's closed. Alright. There's another one. No lights on in the fog. It's not really foggy right here, but it was foggier back there. They didn't have their lights on. And then they get upset when they get rear-ended. Same thing in the rain. Turn your lights on. Turn your lights on in the rain. Because I want to tell you something. If it's raining and you're beside me in a car, chances are I can't see you because of the spray of water coming off my tires. The only thing I may see is those two glowing orbs, you know, your headlights. So turn them on. Especially if you're going to sit there and ride next to me, which I never understood that anyway. But some people just like to ride next to trucks. I don't. I don't like to ride next to trucks, but whatever. Anyway. When in doubt, turn on your headlights. I got pretty used to running my headlights most of the time because there's so many places in Alaska. Like if you run the haul road, they want you to have your headlights on at all times. And then in the wintertime, you know, if you're anywhere north, you know, northern part, like Fairbanks or northern, you know, that area. Well, I think Fairbanks in the dead of winter, you might get 2 hours of daylight, maybe. So most of the time you got your headlights on anyway. I keep adjusting this camera because my mount is loose. I need to tighten it. Okay, I think I got it tightened up. We'll see. Anyway, I don't remember. Turn your lights on in the rain and oh yeah, Alaska, yeah. So I mean, I don't run my headlights 24 hours a day. You know, I worked for a trucking company that did that. This was back in the 90s. They did that as an experiment. That's when the whole turn your lights on even in the daytime thing was really ramping up. And so they did an experiment where they had all the trucks run their headlights 24/7. And I don't remember how long they did it. They did it for a while. And at the end of the experiment, they were telling us about it. And they said it didn't improve safety. I mean, it didn't like prevent any crashes. The only thing it did was up their cost of headlights. You know, because they were burning their headlights all the time. That was it. It didn't do anything for safety. And I get it. If it's broad daylight, somebody get their headlights on, yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it really does anything. But if foggy, raining, yeah, turn your headlights on. The problem is, most of these new cars have the automated headlights. Some of these new trucks have them too. I don't use them. I don't use them in my pickup at home. I don't use them. And I encourage other people not to use them. And the reason why is because people, there again, it's a skill. It's another skill that people have lost. Those things don't always turn on in the fog or the rain. So a lot of people turn their headlights on automatic and they just leave them alone. They don't even think, because there again, they lost that skill, like I was saying earlier. They don't even think, oh, I should turn my headlights on, it's raining. Oh, I should turn my headlights on, it's foggy. They just let the car think for them. And if the car doesn't think it should turn its headlights on, then by God, they're not going to do it. That's just, it's a fact. I don't use them. lot of the guys are putting the eyeballs on the bottom of their windshields. I don't know. It's kind of cool, I guess. Some of them are pretty cool. It depends, you know. Would I do it? No, I'm not going to do it. But it is kind of cool. Now, how long until some of these states start cracking down? I don't know. You got trucks with blue lights on them now. I can remember back in the day, you could not have blue lights because in certain states that's reserved for law enforcement or, you know, fire department, ambulance service, emergency vehicles. You could not have blue lights anywhere in your vehicle. But now I see a lot of trucks, their marker lights are blue. So I don't know. I don't, you know. I remember California, you could not even have a blue bug shield on the front of your truck. Because they said, and of course it's ridiculous, but they thought somebody might mistake that for an emergency vehicle. Yeah, I don't think so, but whatever. But still, I mean, you couldn't do it. My wife, a long time ago, wanted me to get some lights for my motorcycle, you know, to go make it glow. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money. Not that it's that expensive. But I just ride it around town. I don't like, you know, I don't get out on the interstate because I see how people drive. And I just... like it. Some people like the longer videos, so here you go. I don't know how long I'm going to do this. We'll see. Mind this drive till I get up here to York, Nebraska. And then it's 2-lane, and I don't mind running it at night, but man, in the daytime, you can get some real slow pokes. It's going to be a dreary day all day today, but it's autumn, you know. It's coming up the end of October. I've seen it snow at my house in the Texas Panhandle in October, right before Halloween or something. Don't think it's going to happen this year. What do y'all think about, I've been reading more articles about, I don't know, maybe I should save this for a live stream. No, I'll go ahead and say it now, and then we can still save it for a live stream, if I remember. More and more scientists are coming out saying that oil may be a renewable energy. In other words, maybe it didn't come from dead dinosaurs. Maybe the Earth is actually producing it. You know, something about the rock, the mantle crushing the rock, and I'm not a scientist, but they think that it may be a renewable resource. Wow, that would really bust up the game, wouldn't it? A lot of people who've made a lot of money over the years by telling you that we're at peak oil and we need this, we need that, we need solar farms, we need the wind farms. And you say, well, they don't work. They don't produce enough electricity. Doesn't matter. That's all we're going to have, so we're just going to have to live with it. So Give us more government subsidies to build more solar and wind farms. And then some of these trucking companies, give us more subsidies to haul these wind farms. That's why I'm not too fond of those guys. I was going to go to work for a company out of the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, flatbed company one time. They haul those things. And I said, nope. Because y'all get government subsidies to haul those things. And they ugly up the landscape. Where I live, it's full of those wind farms. I live in the high plains. We get a lot of wind. And they're ugly. And they ugly up the whole landscape. I don't like them one bit. They kill the birds. They leak oil because they need oil for lubrication. They don't produce enough electricity. You can have one set of tank batteries produce more electricity than a whole field full of those things. And I know a lot of people say, all right, go Robert, getting political. I'm not getting political, I'm just stating the fact. So, what if more and more scientists say, yes, oil is renewable. We're not going to run out of it. What do those people do? Do they continue to push things that don't really work well? Now, let me back up and say this. I would like to get solar panels for my house and maybe a small wind windmill that produces electricity, because we do get a lot of wind where I live. Those are pretty cool for one house. One house. Not the entire planet, but one house. I think on a small scale like that, they work. Are autonomous or electric trucks going to be the norm? No. Why? Because you would collapse the power grid if you tried to plug in several thousand trucks every day. You'd collapse the grid. Same thing with the cars. Our power grid can't handle it. So it's not going to happen. Not anytime soon. Not until we get energy that is almost free. We get free energy, maybe. And we can produce it as much as we want, as fast as we want. Maybe. Then. But until that happens, it's not. You're not going to have all electric cars and trucks. It's just not. I don't care what Gavin Newsom tries to tell you, or any other person who says, oh yeah, by 2030 we're going to be all electric. No, you're not. I know a guy who delivered to the Pepsi plant in Sacramento, California. And they had some electric trucks, and he asked the driver about it. He said, oh yeah, it's great. You got instant torque, a lot of power. They're great, man. I love it. He just does local stuff. But so yeah, I go over Donner, over to Reno and back sometimes. Yeah, it's no problem. He said, well, y'all going to get more? He said, well, we were going to convert our entire fleet to electric. He said, so my supervisor went to the city of Sacramento and asked them if we did that, if they could provide enough electricity. They said no. They said, do not do it because you'll collapse the grid. And that's the story everywhere. So, not yet. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But the government can't force it on people because the government doesn't know. The federal government doesn't know. For sure. One thing I do like about Secretary Duffy, Secretary of Transportation, he has a CDL. He is a CDL holder. He's driven trucks before. So, you know, I like that. He kind of knows what he's talking about on a lot of things. Is he perfect? Nope. He's better than Pete Buttigieg was. There he goes again with all the MAGA. There's nothing to do with MAGA. If Kamala Harris were president and she appointed Sean Duffy as Transportation Secretary, I would be saying the same thing. Oh, it's a bus up there. I thought that was a truck. Alaska's getting busy for you guys who are thinking about going to Alaska to drive, man. Get busy, make your phone calls, get online, do some applications. Have an adventure, man. Have an adventure. I mean, I get it. You're married, have kids, maybe, or something. Your wife's like, oh, I don't want you to be going. I get that. But if that's not the case, if you want to go up there, give it a shot. They're getting real busy. Going to start that other pipeline and the Amber Road project. I know I keep talking about it, but it's true. I think I told y'all the other day, I got a text from a company up there a while back, asked me if I was still up there working. I said, no, I'm back down in the States. They're needing me. Not that I'm anything great, it's just they know I have haul road experience. But even if you don't, go up there. They'll train you. But you're going to be chaining up. Just letting you know, you may chain up several times a day. So don't go up there thinking, oh, I'm not chaining up. You're going to be chaining up. It's just part of the job. So just letting you know. But yeah, they're getting busy. I really don't want to pass this bus. I think I'll back out of it a little bit. It's not going that much slower than I am. I know, exciting video, isn't it? Nebraska's so exciting. Thank you for not pulling out in front of me. You have people sometimes, and other truck drivers, well, maybe people in cars probably experience it too. You'll have people that'll come out on a side street and they'll sit there and they'll wait. And right before you're about to pass, go past them, boom, they'll just jump right out in front of you. Jot across the road. And it's like, were you waiting just because you wanted to see how close you could get to me? I don't know. It's funny how people do that. I've noticed my anxiety's been up since I came back from Alaska. I don't know what that's about. I think a lot of it has to do with the non-stop people around you. Down here. The cars, the trucks. Although today's not too bad. It's a Saturday morning. Well, it's afternoon now. I get up here closer to York, though. No, there's going to be more traffic. So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it. The noises, the noises these trucks make, the beeping and flashing and all that. things that they didn't put on trucks up there. I think I'd have more patience now, but I don't. It's actually the opposite. I was at National Beef there in Dodge City last night doing a drop and hook, and there was a driver, big company, I'm not going to say the name, but it's a big company, and he was taking forever to back up and drop his trailer. He would make a pull up and then he would sit there for I don't know how long, 30, 40 seconds. And then he would go to back up a little bit. Then he would pull up again. And I finally rolled down the window and said, just back up for Christ's sake, you know. And I don't know if he heard me or what, because he backed up. I don't know if he had his window down or, but yeah, it's, I mean, he was taking a ridiculously long amount of time to back up, by the way, into a spot that was not difficult to back. I mean, it was straight back. Just straight back. And it wasn't even between two trailers. There was a trailer to his left and an empty spot to his right. So, I don't know. Maybe he was a rookie driver. I don't know. I try to be patient, but I'm only human. So I gotta work on my patience again. So my wife's got a snake. My wife likes snakes. Which, living in West Texas, that's good because we have you know, rattlesnakes and such. We have grass snakes and whatever, harmless snakes, poisonous snakes. I don't know which is which. I mean, I do know what a rattlesnake looks like. I know what a coral snake looks like. So I just give them all a wide berth. I'm not afraid of snakes. I don't like spiders. Snakes, I don't have a problem with snakes. I just give them a wide berth because, you know, I don't know if it's a poisonous snake or not. But she's got a snake, a ball python. It's small. Yeah, I'm good with it. My wife is I don't say odd person. I love my wife. She's a wonderful person. I think she's watching this video. You're wonderful. I love you. She was a tattoo artist. And now she works at a truck stop there in town. And she works for the newspaper in town. And, but she loves animals. She definitely loves animals. We have dogs and cats, the snake, we got a duck, we got a pig. She wants one of those Highland cows, you know, for a pet. I'm like, I'm not getting a pet cow. If we get a cow, we're gonna get a cow to eat. And she goes, well, you know, I'm gonna name it. I said, do not name the cow that we're going to eat. It's just gonna make it more difficult. Goes, well, I'm just telling you. So I was all right. I've got land in another area of town. I'll just put the cows over there. And then all you gotta do is go over there and feed them, but you ain't gotta, like, don't get attached to them. road there around town, and she sees a rattlesnake in the road, she will get out and try to coax it off the road. She's smart enough not to get close to it. She'll try to coax it off the, get off the road so it doesn't get run over. Now, if the grandkids are out there and she sees a rattlesnake and she has to kill it, she'll kill it. She'll kill it real quick. She puts human life over the snake's life. But at the same time, she's not going to kill one unnecessarily. Me, take that sucker out, man. I don't care. Miles of York. They got a decent truck wash. That's a decent Blue Beacon truck washer in York. The one in Amarillo, the one right off I-40, not the one behind or down from the Love, but the one right off I-40. They do a great job. Big hurry because this is not scheduled to be dropped for a day or so yet. Although it doesn't matter, we can drop them anytime. But also, like I said, my next load, I seriously doubt it's going to be ready till sometime tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So I'll probably, like I said earlier, drop my trailer over there at the packing house and go to the grocery store and stock up on some things. Still 60 mile an hour. I slow down. That's where you get your tickets at, man, in these speed zones, in these small towns. Goes back to 70. Up here, that'll be 3,500 miles for the week. So not a bad week, considering I did a 34-hour restart in the middle of it. but they keep me moving, you know. I'm still 4 or 5 hours from this drop, and I've already got my next load. Well, they've already sent it to me. I just got another message just popped up from that company in Alaska. I was just talking about that. I'm telling you, man, they're busy up there. I'm telling you, if you want to go up there and have an adventure and you're able to do it, do it. You will make money. You will stay busy. You will work. It is not just holding the steering wheel. You want to challenge yourself, push yourself, see what you're capable of. Do it. Do some research on companies up there and do it. It's just, like I say, it's just funny because I was just talking about that a while ago, and then I saw it pop up on my phone when they sent me a text. I don't know what it's about. Probably another one wondering if I'm ready to go back up there. No, maybe next winter. I like these people where I work. These are good people. Anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and end this video. I'm gonna call the wife. I appreciate you watching. I really would appreciate a subscribe, like and subscribe. Get the video out there, get it in the algorithm more. Let's get people, knowledgeable on the trucking industry. And number one, we're not all out there plowing in the traffic. We want to do something about it as well. And just whatever. I'd really appreciate it. Get it out there and like and subscribe. I haven't looked at my analytics lately. I don't know how many people are watching who don't subscribe, but it's usually pretty high. It's usually like 70%. So I'm not sure at the moment. I've been staying pretty busy, so I haven't had a chance to look. I haven't had a chance to go through all the comments. I went through some today, and I'll probably go through some tomorrow. Any that I've missed. So if I didn't at least heart react to your comment, I apologize. I'm going to try to go through all of them. But once I let them get 2 or 3 days behind, it's hard to catch back up, man. It really is. Some of these guys who have big channels, who have like 20, 30,000 subscribers, and they heart react to just about every. I don't see how they do it. I really don't. They must just sit there for an hour and just do nothing but go through their comments. God bless them. Anyway, I'll go ahead and get off here now. Like and subscribe, share, and thanks for watching.